Good evening and welcome to the Thursday Camera Artists Guild Image Critique. I'm your host, George DeLoache, portrait artist and photographer's coach, and this is where we help photographers learn to master the photographic arts. Welcome everybody that are watching on YouTube, Periscope, and Twitter, along with the Camera Artists Guild page and the Camera Artists Guild group. We have been working with photographers for about the past 3 years with this broadcast. And I can tell you that it is just thrilling to watch how the work has improved. Each and every week as people submit their work to critique, they get better. You bring the work out, we look at the images, we see how we can maybe make them a little bit better, and then go back and apply those techniques. So if you're interested in growing and getting better at what you do as a photographer, jump into the critique process. It is a proven, well-proven course to improve the quality of your work. I have been actively involved with PPA, Professional Photographers of America, for a lot of years, and the image print competition is the way that you go about developing your skills in and around that, and this is similar to that. So we're going to jump into the broadcast. We got some really great images here. We're going to jump into the broadcast in a second. Let me take care of a couple of things here. I want to tell you that I wished you could have made it to the workshop this weekend. We had a workshop at my studio in downtown Los Angeles on Sunday, and it was phenomenal. We had quite a few photographers there. It was about 10, which is a nice intimate group for the size. And it was on the creative process. We spent the first portion of the day working on technical stuff, kind of a classroom kind of an environment. And then the last half of the day, we spent building lighting setups, starting out from nothing and adding everything in layers, backgrounds, light modifiers, each piece of equipment and each direction and setting it takes to create a great portrait. Then at the end of that, I took each individual photographer that was there and we photographed them and gave with their cameras. So they ended up going away with a portrait of them with their cameras they could use to promote themselves. So it was a lot of fun. I love doing it. I hope you'll be able to make it to the next one. Professional Photographers of America is putting on one at the studio in October. So go to ppa.com and check out their super one-day workshops. Sign up for it. I'd love to have you come by and enjoy the studio. We have a great time. And also, don't forget, coming up this September, the 15th through the 20th at Georgia O'Keeffe's Ghost Ranch in northern New Mexico, I'll be teaching a workshop on environmental portraiture and landscape. This is an opportunity to come unplugged from the city, to be in some of the most beautiful scenery that you've ever seen, a breathtaking area, and an opportunity to relax and just delve into the art form of photography, to learn and to grow as artists working together. Now, Ghost Ranch has done something really cool. They've given a discount code for people who are part of Camera Artists Guild. So if you email me, I will email you out a discount code for $100 off of the cost of the entire workshop. And so email me at george@georgedeloache.com, GeorgeDeloache.com, and I will send you out that discount. Now, I believe the workshop is priced right around the $1,250 range for 5 days. Now, that's an amazing price because that includes your room at the lodge with an attached bath, your meals, and the workshop, the entire educational portion of it. So all you have to do is take that and plug in your transportation to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and come and join me for 5 days. It is going to be phenomenal. I know how much I enjoy the time I spend there just simply roaming around and looking for wonderful things to photograph, and I look forward to having you there. So that pretty much covers it. Oh yeah, for those of you guys who are not familiar with how to submit your work to the critique, you'll need to come over to Facebook, to the Facebook group, Camera Artists Guild group on Facebook. Request to join. We'll bring you in as one of the members of the group, and then simply write a message to the group and attach your image. I select from all of those images weekly for the images that we do our critique to. So if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, YouTube or Periscope or the Camera Artists Guild page, you can't interact with the broadcast because I'm only watching the comments from the group. So if you want to interact on that, come on over and join the group. Or if you want to submit your images, come on over and join the group. Otherwise, I'm glad that you're here. I hope that you enjoy it. Feel free to email me anytime on any questions you might have that I can maybe help you out, and we'll continue to grow together. So we're going to swing over to the broadcast here right now, so stand by. Let's get going right away. First image is up, and it is from Gary Duncan. Gary does really a lot of really great sports stuff. And hey, Jerome, how you doing, man? And he's adding in some portraiture there. I like this one, Gary. I think you're really on the right track. I like the soft lighting that you chose to use. Soft because of the gradual transfer edge, and diffused because of the smoothness that it looks. So it works very well with females and skin tones. Very nice. The thing that I would suggest that you consider is your background. Now, you've chosen a nice shallow depth of field, so we have really cool bokeh. That is, you know, the bokeh is this area, B-O-K-E-H, is a bokeh that is that the area here in the back that's out of focus. And that helps to separate the subject in the midground from the background by use of the technique called selective focus. So you've done that well, but you're a bit hot on your background. You've got hot spots over here in the grass. Your greenery there is brighter than it need be. And the sky here is detracting to a certain degree. I think if you increase your shutter speed, you would be able to darken that background down. I wouldn't even touch the f-stop. F-stop's fine. Just increase the shutter speed. And now if you take your shutter speed beyond your sync point for your strobe, then you have to do some calculations. You either have to go to high-speed sync on strobes that will operate under high-speed sync, or you have to stack some ND filters, neutral density filters in there, and readjust your exposure. But still, it's a nice image. Hey, Ron. Got Ron Pollard over there out of Huntsville, Alabama. I just saw him pop on the broadcast. How you doing, brother? Okay, that's Gary Duncan. We're looking at Gary Duncan, the next one. Gary does all these sports images. Nice action. It's a little tight for me. You know, I'd like to see just a little bit more of the action, but you really know what you're doing with sports. Your exposure is right, your action's on, your action's frozen. So you're right there. I just think it's just a little bit tight, but you know, that's just one person's opinion. Thanks, Gary. Okay, Eliave, beautiful image. You don't always have to have the person staring into the camera, although I like eye contact with the camera. I feel that it's more intimate, but this is one almost peeking in on a quiet moment between this lady and herself, like she's almost sharing a secret with herself. So it's well exposed. Yeah, little compositions could maybe use a little tweaking there to position her on the page a little bit better. I understand where you're going with the rule of thirds and dropping her in on the 1/3 compositional line. I think I maybe like to not have the image quite so narrow and have it a little broader, if that means using a 4:5 crop, and give her a little more of the shoulder there, so that this side of her face has there's just a lot of room on this side, and I like to have a little bit more room on that side. But it's a beautiful image. Skin tones are nice, exposure's nice. Well done, Eliave. I appreciate it. Okay, here we go again. Marilyn Miller, Bill Thomas, how are you doing? This one's Eliave again, and great black and white, a masterful job in maintaining skin tones. You got great skin tones here. You have detail in the white, you have detail in the darks, you have nice specular highlights which give tonality to darker skin. It's an amazing image. You did really well on that one, man. Congratulations. That's a difficult thing to pull off because of the fact that you are pushing the dynamic range of your equipment between where you have detail in the low range and detail in the high range. And yet you didn't have to sacrifice either one. You were able to hold all the details in the folds of the hijab here, you know, and up into the top of her top garment. So nice eye contact, nice expression. Thank you. Okay, Diana Rucker, our Midwestern Iowa photographer. And Diana, I just commend you so much because you're constantly pushing the envelope, trying new things, experimenting with post-production and your images. That is the way things are rolling. I believe and I teach that your post-production, what you do with the computer, is 1/3 of the creative process. And here you are working with paint or a painter type effect. Painter is a program specifically of its own self, but Photoshop allows you to paint as well. You may want to check that out. But I like what you're trying to do, and just keep on pushing it. You are getting better at your techniques, at your compositing. You get better at paint. And for a family portrait photographer, that's the route to the money. That's where the money is where you can produce stuff that nobody else can. I can point you in the direction of a couple of photographers that really do an excellent job with it. You can check out some of their work. I'll pull together a list and try to email it off to you. But thanks, congratulations, appreciate it. Okay, this is another one. You say you were out there on your parents' farm in the sunflower patch, and that it was high noon, which is a real challenge. And working at high noon with all those contrasts, you pulled it off well. There are some things that I try to tweak a little bit with composition. Again, it's just so narrow that it's nipping into her arm, and I just really like to see the rest of her arm. I think you probably could get a better pose with the sunflower and her hand. There, it just kind of looks like she's kind of grabbing a hold of it, and you want to maybe delicately pose it. I did one of my daughter about this age with a big mum, and I had her almost cradle it like it was a baby, and that kind of worked. But exposure-wise, you held detail in the back without blowing out the back areas. Your exposure just right on with the high noon sun. You said you were using the Sunny 16 rule, which is a 1/16 of a second f/125 at 100 ISO or thereabouts. The f-stop or the shutter speed and the ISO are usually pretty close to matched with each other, but still nice as far as technique is concerned. Okay, great. Okay, we got Triple D, D-Dan, Dave Blackman out of Detroit City. D-Dan is, I call him Triple D because his first three names are all D's. Triple D has been around since the beginning of the group. He's a heck of a good guy. You guys up there in that area know that he's just kind of one of those salt of the earth kind of guys. Good man. This is a really interesting image. I am not quite sure how you got all of this together. If that is a hawk and you have got that hawk pretty well suspended in mid-flight, yet you ended up with automobiles there blurred. I don't know whether he flew into your camera range and then you fired your strobe and suspended his movement by the speed of the speed light, the speed of the strobe, or exactly how you pulled it off. But it's an interesting image, man. I really enjoyed trying to figure out how you pulled it off. shoot me out an email and let me know. I don't want you to give away your secrets. I'm just interested in how you did it. Okay, and we got one more from Mr. Triple D. Street performer. I love working with street performers. I have a whole series of LA street performers because you can find them just about anywhere. Musicians, dancers. I've even got a guy who juggles chainsaws out at Venice Beach, which is a really crazy place to go do street photography. You did get him in an interesting move, but think about what you're doing with these street performers. Now, since I've photographed tons and tons and tons of these dancers, I understand what's happening. And here's the best spot to get a dancer like this is down at his level. It means getting down on your knees and being down at his level, but that levels out everything. Watch your background. I know you were trying to get his moves and he's moving and he's clowning for the camera and all like that, but work on controlling all of that stuff. Get around, check your background, position yourself, get down about their level, and you'll see an amazing improvement in your street stuff. Okay, man, thanks for submitting it. I appreciate it. Daryl Jarman. Daryl is always doing amazing work. Daryl is a photographer out of Tallahassee, Florida, and does great studio work. Hey, Derek and Keith and Maurice, all three are in the house. Nice to see you guys, along with Marilyn Miller and Willie D. Nice to have you. This is a great photograph. Super expressions. Great detail in the gown. Nice skin tones. I love the background. I've got a series, a couple of Muslims that are very close to that one I got from Silver Lake that I really like. I kind of think this one calls out for a vignette. I really like to vignette it a little bit. That's a creative choice. That's a choice that you've made. I'm just saying that I think that vignette might help, and I'm just gonna, just for argument's sake, I'm gonna pop up my vignetting program. I use the Perfect 8 from On One, and it will pop up over here. Well, let's see here if I can get it to. No, I can't. We're just gonna pop on the vignette, and I'll bring it back. And then we're gonna apply it, and it should pop back over and come back up. Perfect 8 has one that makes it easy to play with the vignette. And okay, it didn't do it. So super. Let's go back down here. Let's just throw in a vignette by hand. I'm gonna go to brush. I'm gonna increase the size of that brush. I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna get a soft edge on that brush. I have a soft edge on the brush. I'm gonna increase the size of it somewhere along about in there. I'm gonna switch over to my black, the brush on black. I'm gonna change the opacity to 30%, and I'm just gonna hit it down here a little bit there, and a little bit around in here, up in there, maybe just bringing that down just a hair, just a little bit, not a whole lot, but just enough that that vignette will help draw attention into the bride there without degrading it. Now that's just a fast down and dirty one. If it's too much, you come up to the opacity slider and simply slide it back and give it the adjustment that you want where you want to get it. So just a suggestion, you're the creator of the image and you do it the way you want to. Neither one is right or wrong. Just a suggestion to show some people how to possibly jump in and do that. Hey, oh yeah, Derek, welcome. Okay, Clyde A. Harris Jr. And I love the feel of this. You know, the pointing, it's almost a Usain Bolt kind of thing. And I don't know whether this is in an actual game or just I think it almost looks like a practice jersey to me. So they may just be at practice, but it's still a nice image. I think it's a little underexposed, so you might want to try to bring it up a little bit. I'm just wondering, I haven't checked this out, so I am going to just go to levels, and I'm going to bring up the white side of the slider there a little bit. Okay, that brings that up, and then I'm going to bring up the mid-tones just a little. There we go. And then I'm going to nip in on the black side of the slider to throw just a little bit of contrast in there. There you go. And I think that's a little bit stronger image, but nice. And keep going. Okay, Shantae C. Ramsey. I love using perspective, that is finding walls or something with repeating patterns that go into diminishing the back. The fire hydrant or post match her outfit, which is interesting, balances it out well. You do have it far enough back that the white area there in the back is not really that detracting, this area right here. I like to, you are working available light, so when you're working available light, you have got to use, now you found a beautiful area to work in, which is an overhang. It is midday, you can tell that by looking at what's going on in the back, but it is midday. But if you can find an overhang like this area here, it almost looks like New Orleans to me. You can find a place where there's a roof, where there's a carport, where there's something over top, then you change the direction of the lighting. You get rid of all of that harsh noonday or midday sun. So you've done that here. Just get her to rotate her body just a little bit more to camera left, so that this area underneath her cheek is gets some of the light that's coming in on this side. There should be a little triangle right underneath here for Rembrandt, or you should see the loop of the nose shadow for Loop, and that would just finish it off. But nice work. Okay, and Anthony Shirley, haven't had Anthony around in a while. I'm glad to see you back on the broadcast, brother. Anthony's another guy that's been with the broadcast for a very long time, and I like what you're trying to do on this one. You got great skin tones, beautiful eye contact, wonderful lady, nice smile. Watch your composition. You got your eyes just dead center on the center horizon line. Bring those eyes up in here to the 1/3 compositional line. The negative space here above is now it's a nice bokeh, nice shadow, depth of field. Well done. Just crop down this top there a little bit. I'm wondering, I'm just going to go in here really quick and throw in a 4x5 crop, which happens to be the one I like to use most of the time, but that's just the way I see things. 4x5 is the same as an 8x10 crop. But now you're not going to hit the 1/3 compositional line whenever you're doing a head and shoulders portrait without nipping into the hair. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to bring it down as close to the hair as I can and get it as close to that line. And now let's go in here. And I think that that's a bit stronger image. You decide what you like with it. It may even work. No, well, it's not enough image to work in a horizontal. So we'll just call it quits at that. But thanks, Anthony. I am watching you grow and improve. I know where you started out, and I know where you are now. I just want to continue to encourage you to keep on pushing, man. Just keep on. You're getting better with each and every shot. Okay, Al Cabrera. Wow, Al, just absolutely stunning. Stunning image. That's all I can say. This one should score well in print competition. The lady is regal. You got the horse looking right at the camera, which is really neat. I grew up and spent my whole life around horses, and it's a beautiful animal. Nice choice of scenery, and your exposure's right on the money with your artificial light and your available light. You darken down the back there enough that it allows her to be separated from by contrast from the background, and muted out the colors in the bandstand, or whatever you call it, pavilion, whatever that is there. The only thing that I would mention, now I'm going to really be nitpicky because you are an excellent photographer, and so I'm going to nitpick and nitpick and nitpick. Right up here in the corner looks like some palm branches or palm leaves that are sticking out of the image, and I bet that you can just, you probably didn't even see them, but I'm going to just pop them off over there, and that finishes it off. That makes it a whole lot smoother. I appreciate that. And I'm almost certain your horizon is level, although it felt a little, no, it is, it's level, it's good. It's just the camera angle. Excellent image, excellent, but see, this is what you do. This is your area of specialty, is combining available and artificial light. This is what we're going to be working on with the environmental portraiture workshop at the Ghost Ranch in September, is learning how to create these kinds of images. So just well done. Okay, let's check there. And we have Willie Demetrius Richardson. Nice image. Color is strong. I love the reds, the saturated color. I love saturated color and contrasting images. It's nicely done. You were able to light in the background enough that it didn't overpower the image. If you had let this area here go up a stop, it would have totally destroyed the image. But here it's done well. Skin tones are right where they need to be. Beautiful lady. I wished that you had gotten her to give you more emotion, to emote more. If it's haughtiness, if it's seduction, if it's friendliness, but right now her eyes are squinted just slightly, so she almost looks like she's mad, you know. And I know, again, I'm nitpicking, but this is what makes these excellent images, is capturing just that right moment of expression. We are, besides being artists and photographers and technicians, we have to be psychologists, and you need to give people things to think about. Talk with them, encourage them, act silly if you need to whatever it takes to get that mood out of them. And then I think you could have posed her arms a little bit different, turned her body around without her arms right behind her back. But other than those, this is a very well done image. Thank you for sharing it. I appreciate it. See, you guys are doing an amazing job this week. I'm finding very little to find fault with. And we got Ray Doe Lewis, and you got two of them up today. And I think you're probably working for this boot company, because it says Hanson Exotic Boot Maker, and the lady's wearing boots in one of the other images. Great expression, great exposure. It is a little difficult working with that background as bright as it is. I think I would have looked around and tried to find a different background. Maybe you didn't have time. Drag that shutter, slow that shutter down some. If you're using a speed light, you can go to high speed sync. If you're using Canon or Nikon speed lights, you can go to high speed sync, and you could have gone to 1,000th of a second and darkened this area in, and she would have just popped off the page, and you wouldn't have had these big bright areas that are blown out in the background. So, but still, you know, your exposure on her is right where it's supposed to be. And again, the lady again, and like I said, I believe it's boots, because of the boots are showing there. So that's what it's about, is showing those boots, and you've done that. Well done. And Reginald Miller, interesting image. You have real emotion with her. You can feel something when you're looking at this lady. I'm not sure the narrative, but you cropped it mid-arm rather than through the joints. Well done. She's dead bullseye to the page on a square format. I think I may have approached the composition a little bit differently. and you're just getting to the point where you're right at the very edge of exposure, where you're beginning to lose it on her skin tones there. But here, the face, just tons of emotion and feeling, so good. This is Nicola Lawn Mulmore, and this must be a 21 birthday. Both you and Diana decided to work in the flower fields today, or this week. This is an interesting image. You're getting there compositionally. I think that I probably would have brought the horizon down a little bit. You'd never really want that horizon to be center of the page. Lower the horizon down or lift it up, but center of the page is always kind of tough. Watch your positioning of the lady there. Right now you have her position, but you got this bush right here, and I'll bet you didn't even see it when you did the photograph, because we focus in on where we become myopic or one-eyed. We focus in on just the subject, and you're working for that. But watch this stuff here, because this grows right up into the center of her torso. And I think that if you had moved over here, the flowers would be lower on her body, and you could see a bit more of her waist, and you could still have that same flower effect on the lower end that you have. Also, when you got them holding balloons in 21, now you got the 21 up there just right, the balloons up there just right, but have her hold those out in front of her a little bit. Move her arm forward so that the balloons and everything are not just simply growing out of the top of her head, because you got one single line through the plants right up through the top of her head all the way out there. So the concept is brilliant. Your exposure is where it needs to be. You just need to refine it a little bit, and that's about feeding your eyes composition and trial and error and winning and missing the mark and going back and doing it again. I just want to keep encouraging you. Again, I'm watching your work improve. You don't submit that often, but I encourage you to keep coming. And Mike Montgomery, Palmdale, California. Mike's just up the road from where I live, and great eyeball, Mike. Yeah, I know you do a lot of this eye makeup stuff. Little wondering about how close you nip the edge of the makeup to the eye or to the side of the page. You may have been trying to get that head wrap out of there. I would have pulled that head wrap out, pulled back, got a little bit of the eyebrow. But sterling in here. The eyelashes look fabulous. The eye is sharp. The skin tones are nice. So, you know, I really like it. I don't know which lens you were using, but it's a real sharp lens. Keep that one. Okay. And Maurice James Stewart. Maurice, you've been doing tons and tons of product stuff, and now you pop in a portrait. And this little dude just made me smile. When I looked at him, I got the biggest grin on my face about this little guy. He is busting up, just having himself a good old time, and that's cool. And the bow tie and the fedora are just a great touch. So nice. I like the fade there in the background. I don't know whether you brought that on a boom. It looks like it's probably on a boom above camera position, but it works well to separate him from the background. Other than that, yeah, it's nice. It's just a nice image. Okay, Maurice Covington, and we got 3 from Maurice here, and I pulled out all 3 to just show a couple of things. I don't know exactly where you were, and I don't know whether these are models or whether you were working with them or whether they were part of a show. But this lady, I love her costume, her outfit, her makeup is all just really great. It almost looks like Las Vegas, but I'm not certain. It could be anywhere where they have a big hotel or something like that. But look around for an area that you can do away with this bright column. the skin tones, the bright column are all so close there together that this area predominates, and this is the area you want. You want to get in there and show that look that she's giving, because it's a great outfit and great makeup. So just pay attention to your backgrounds. We get so focused in on the subject that we miss the background. Exposure is on, everything else is on with it. And this is another one by the same maker, Maurice Covington. When I was a kid growing up, they had cigarette girls like that. That's what and when I was a kid growing up and everybody smoked cigarettes, that would be what she was doing, would be selling cigarettes. Philip Morris was the brand, and they had a little guy that used to walk around with that thing and yell, "Call for Philip Morris," and they were doing that. So it's interesting. The kind of flat on-camera flash against the wall. It is more journalistic and observational, but at least you got a nice expression, and there you go. And this is your last one, and again, wherever you were on this one, you do have some nice kickers coming in, and your main light. The problem is that this one over here is flaring on you. It's coming into the camera position, and it's degrading the image up in here. You can see this milky look. That's where that light is hitting the glass and the lens, and reacting to the glass by bouncing across it. So you need to get a gobo, that is a flag or a gobo between you and that light, so that that light doesn't shine directly into the camera lens, and that will take care of that flare in it. Okay, Lee McDowell. I love this one, Lee. Again, this is another difficult one to pull off. Both you and Ellie were working with similar subjects with white on white high key, white outfits, and strong skin tones. And to be able to hold detail throughout all of that is well done. That's a masterful job. Now, it's what I expect from you, because I know the quality of work that you put out. Personally, now this just goes to personally. Personally, I would have added a reflector on this side to raise the shadow values a little bit there, rather than maybe a 6-to-1 lighting ratio. I bring it up to a 4-to-1, maybe a 2-stop difference. But that's a judgment call on creativeness, not a criticism. This guy looks great. The suit looks great. The only other thing that I would also possibly mention is when you have people put a hand in a pocket like that, don't let them, and they want to do it instinctually, because that's what we do. You know, we do to keep our hands in our pocket, and I do that all the time. We want to let that hand rest all the way down at the bottom of the pocket, fist balled up, hand down the bottom of the pocket. But what that does is it bunches up the garment right in here, around the jacket, around the sleeve. And if you have him just fake it a little bit, pull that hand up to where he's actually holding it up, then come in and drag this cuff down a little bit to get rid of that wrinkle, tug the back tail of the jacket down a little bit. Since I work in business and corporate, I specialize in business and corporate, I work with men in suits all the time. And there's a couple of techniques that you learn. So I'm just sharing that, not that you needed, Lee, but that other people might learn something from it. Okay? Great. Thanks so much. This is another one by Lee, and there's two that you did that I just really thought needed to point out some of the real detail that you put into conceptualization on these. To think about these and to arrive at them. We're going to the other one next time, but I love this. The clamshell, the beach, the artificial light source, and the available light both working together, and you held everything together, detail all the way around and in the horizon. So another masterful job, well done. Now this one, I really like the fact that you did show behind the scenes, and you said that there was something that you live near the beach and there's something that floated up on the beach. To me, it looks like a buoy of some sort. but you were able to come up with a concept from this piece of iron and float that's there. You got an idea, and I love these lights. I'm really thinking about getting a set of them. I think that's the 8200s or something like that. And I'm glad to see you're working with them. Let the group know how you like those, because I need a set of powerful portable lights like that, and that seems to be the one to go. But to take that, set it up, and then end up with this out of that was just masterfully done. It shows that you can find stuff to photograph, even if it's just beach combing, walking down the beach and there's something there if you're out, if you're looking for it, and if you're trained and skilled yourself. Now, Leah's been in photography maybe as long as I have, so stuff like this jumps out. And I also like the very warm tones that you use, the warming gel that you use to bring that up some. So nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, Keith Davis, and this is one from a series that you've shown a few times, and I just wanted to point this out. Great concept. Keith comes up with these really wild concepts, and it's well executed. From what the blurb says down here, that the clients loved it, and it's a very interesting and nice concept, well executed. This is another one of Keith's, and guitars, ladies, you know, hey, the green is fine. I wish we had had more eye or more light on that eye, because there's just the one eye coming out from behind the neck of the guitar, and I would really like to see that eye as part of the construct. Have her move her arm a little bit to camera left, have her move the neck just a little bit, even if it means tilting your card just slightly or turning it so that you can get the full. Matter of fact, it'd be really cool probably if you got the eye right down, if you brought the neck right along the nose line, and you would still have the same general effect, and it would just give a little more power to it. Then get a little bit of light up in here, pump a little more light up into that area there, and I would take this thing on to the next level. Okay, John Harville, we got two from you today, John. One here and one here. So we comment about this, and you were working in the gym here the last couple of times. Last week you had gym stuff, and you've got a lady who is an amazing athlete. She's got a phenomenal fitness figure, working with dumbbells there and a kettlebell on the other one. And you're headed in the right direction, but I think you need more fill light in there, because of the fact that you are a believer promoting the gym and the outfit. Now, if it's just promoting her, then the composition could be stronger. But if it's the outfit and the gym, then you need to increase the fill in there, and that might mean dragging that shutter a little bit. And that's going to get into difficulty here with the background, because this area will blow out if you slow the shutter speed down any. So you may want to bring in a secondary light source as a fill, only that fill has got, all fill lights are supposed to be non-directional and non-specular. And so take that fill and bounce it off of something. Bounce it off of the wall, bounce it off of a board, or hang a towel over a barbell and bounce it off of it. Something that will take away from the directionality of it and just raise the values inside the room. Same thing that you would be doing if you were outside and you were balancing daylight and artificial light, which you do very well. So just keep that same concept, only this time you may be adding artificial light in order to accomplish it. So just think about those two things there. We got that one and that one. Great. Let me check the comments, see where we're going with comments. Okay, there we go. No, I see. Maurice says this was a actual photo shoot thing called a click-on. We used to have those called model days out here in LA, And so, yeah, I do understand then there's very little control you have over where the models are. They come out and they pose where they pose, and you just have to work with what you have. But it's a good exercise in building your skills. So keep it going. And Ray DeLoache says it was a boot shoot. I thought it was. And then Diana says she has the AD200s and she really likes them. Thanks, Diana. I appreciate it. Okay, here we go. Jerome Lynch. All right, Jerome, not bad, brother. Not bad. Nice choice of backgrounds. I like the fact that you found this dark area to put them in, so it kind of almost frames them up. You got the crane out there spread out really nice. The gown out there spread out really nice. The skin tones are fine. The exposure is where it should be. Now let's refine it a little bit. Get her to drop that bouquet down and tilt it up a little bit so that it has a little more grace to it. It's not quite like she's grabbing a hammer. That she has just to put a little more grace into there. And then this guy, it's got to be a tailored tux, so it's probably been tailored for him. Now, he and I have a similar figure, so I'm not being disrespectful to the guy. But button the jacket so that you don't have the shirt, this white section of the shirt out there. Get him to button his jacket up and just tell him, hey, would you mind buttoning your jacket? And he's used to wearing it out because of his waistline. But the tuxedo, I'm sure, is tailored so that it could be buttoned. So button the jacket up and then have him turn his head just a little bit more towards camera. And that would just take this on up to the next level. But it's very well done, Jerome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, Jerome Hart. Great black and white, great skin tones. Again, this is the third one now where we're dealing with large contrast, high key and contrast with white outfits and darker complected skin. And I love it. I just love it. The skin tones are amazing. I love the hair. My daughter just got her braids taken out. But I love the braids. Just powerful image. Everything is great. I think I would change her body position a little bit, turn her, give her a little more of an angle to the camera so it's not so dead on. And I don't mind that this back is gray and not white because that works with the composition very well because the outfit is white. So nice, man, nice. All right, and Gary Duncan, and I'm just show another one of Gary's sports photos because Gary's always killing it on these sports photos, man. he's always knocking it out, and you can't beat this one. Timing, movement, everything right where it should be. You can hear the squeaks of the sneakers on the hardwood. You can feel the slap of the ball. Very nice. Very nice, very well done, Gary. Okay, good enough. That pretty much covers it for this week.